be driven by the United States. If demand for EVs continues at our current pace, the lithium requirements for the US EV market alone in 2050 would require triple the amount of lithium currently produced on the entire planet today. Corporate interests and their allies in Congress see this potential for astronomical demand and point to it as a reason for cutting our bedrock environmental protections, ignoring community input, and abusing.
Said that Speaker Pelosi remained committed to passing a second infrastructure measure focused on Democrats' broad policy priorities. Biden split his two-part Build Back Better proposal into two packages for Congress to pass. The first is the American Jobs Plan, which is focused on infrastructure, while the second, the American Families Plan, is aimed at funding Democrats' domestic policy platform. Now folks, I need you to know this. Over 80 members of Congress have been urging President Biden to support recurring direct cash payments and enhance unemployment compensation to Americans until the end of the crisis. There is also a proposal for automatic stabilizers, whereby if certain economic triggers were hit, these programs could be deployed again, without the need for legislative action to speed their delivery. When U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen sat before the House Ways and Means Committee last week to speak about the White House's proposal for the 2022 budget, she was pressed about these measures. The Treasury Secretary Yellen said, "Sometimes stimulus checks are a really good approach. I think we need to look into the economics, and we would be happy to work with you." A group of Democratic senators, including Ron Wyden, Elizabeth Warren, and Bernie Sanders, sent a letter to the president requesting recurring direct cash payments and automatic unemployment insurance extensions tied to economic conditions. A letter from members of the House Ways and Means Committee renewed the push for additional stimulus. The American Rescue Plan's $1,400 checks alone will keep 11 million people out of poverty this year, with unemployment insurance expansion and other provisions in a bill accounting for another 5 million. A fourth and a fifth check could keep an additional 12 million people out of poverty. Combined with the effects of the ARP, direct cash payments could reduce the number of poverty in 2021 from 44 million to 16 million. The Urban Institute estimated that another stimulus payment could reduce poverty by at least 6.4% in 2021, and many economists are on board with this. An open letter from experts in the field argued that direct cash payments are an essential tool that will boost economic security, drive consumer spending, and hasten the recovery. And the lawmakers in many states have been approving tax cuts aiming to help residents financially. New property and rent relief rebate checks are going to be sent out, and these payments are worth billions of dollars and will equal hundreds of dollars for many people. As fueled by surging revenue, states have been slashing taxes for individuals and businesses for the past 3 years. But tax cuts are expected to come to an end in some states in the fiscal year. Some 25 states have cut individual income tax rates since 2021. It includes 22 states that reduced their top marginal rates. In 2023 alone, at least 8 states approved rate reductions. And Arkansas is trimming its top individual income tax rate to 4.7% after reducing it from 5.5%. Aside from individual income tax cuts, states have proposed rebate checks for their residents. Last year, 17 states issued inflation relief payments as well. And now, if you're a Massachusetts resident, income tax refunds were available to you if you paid personal income taxes and filed your return by October 17. If you file your state return by October 17, you should be able to get your stimulus check back. Nearly $100 million in rebates will be sent out to residents across the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Starting today, over 4 million older homeowners, renters, and people with disabilities will be issued rebates on rent and property taxes paid in 2022. According to a release, the rebates will be allocated to eligible Pennsylvanians who submitted an application through the property tax and rent rebate program. Applicants who submit their bank account information on the application forms will receive the rebate through direct deposit. And those who request a paper check to be mailed should expect to receive the payment in the mail too. But after the initial distribution of rebates in early July, rebates will be distributed as claims are received and processed. Recently, a Pennsylvania governor called for a major expansion for the relief program, which will provide a lifeline for Pennsylvania renters and homeowners. Under his proposal, the maximum standard rebate would increase. SNAP benefits are distributed to eligible residents from the 10th to the 14th of every month, with all beneficiaries scheduled to have their benefits by the month of July by Friday. Now, the next round of SNAP payments will also begin on August 10th. The state of Texas will complete issuing SNAP benefits worth up to $1,700 for a month of July this week. Texas has a long window for issuing payments, lasting through the first 10 days in a month. Even the amount received depends on one family size. A single household will receive $281, and an 8-member household will receive $1,700. But on a federal level, some House representatives want to expand the number of food stamp recipients subject to work requirements and time-limited food benefits by raising the age of people covered by the rules to 65. Members are writing the bill against the backdrop of extraordinary uncertainty in the economy and inflation, including the cost of food is so high that the Federal Reserve is willing to risk a recession to slow the prices down. Economic disruptions are caused by the crisis, and the robust labor market is expected to weaken in the months ahead. The past week, Democrats of the Department of Education announced that it will begin discharging student loan debts for borrowers who've been in repayment for 20 to 25 years under a one-time payment. Around 800,000 borrowers will benefit from this, and there will be $39 billion dropped. Joe Biden said the previous announcement is a one-time adjustment and will become an even more important lifeline for struggling borrowers than repayments start in September. The one-time payment adjustment the Education Department had counts certain months that were previously ineligible towards student loan forgiveness. But now, everybody, the Education Department announced a one-time payment adjustment for all direct loans and federally owned family education loans. Now, the adjustment to student loan accounts will go toward helping borrowers get closer to forgiveness under the income-driven plans. And after this adjustment, people should be getting stimulus payments because the one-time payment adjustment helps to reverse some of the damage caused by loan services that did not properly track deferments or steer borrowers to roughly 180,000 working poor households who claim the state's earned income tax credit on the 2021 state tax returns. The state earned income tax credit currently is worth 30% of the federal credit and provides recipients an average benefit of $700. The one-time $300 bump Lamont and other Democrat-controlled legislature approved for earned income tax credit recipients effectively raised the state credit temporarily to 42% of the tax benefit. But tax reform advocates have been pushing for years to make permanent a child tax credit and enhance earned income tax credit program. The governor of the city wants to reassess the state's fiscal health after much of the $3 billion in federal crisis relief Connecticut received last year has been exhausted. Over the weekend, buyers paid a $5 a gallon, or roughly $100 to fill the tank, and gas prices have